Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we are talking about something a lot of people think about, but are not always sure they are ready for moving out on your own for the first time. Whether you have been living at home after college, stayed with family while saving money, or just reached a point where you are craving your own space. The question is the same. Are you actually ready? Because moving out before you are financially prepared can send you right back home, and nobody wants that. So today we are going through the key signs that tell you the time is right and the ones that tell you to wait a little longer. The very first thing you need to figure out is whether you can actually cover your bills. This sounds obvious, but a lot of people underestimate what it really costs to live independently. You need to sit down and build a detailed monthly budget, write out everything you earn and everything you spend. And when you are making that list, make sure you are including the expenses you might not be paying right now, like utilities, transportation, groceries, and of course, rent. If you have been living at home, there is a good chance you have been spending more on entertainment and non-essentials because you did not have those bigger bills. That is going to change. Once you subtract your expenses from your income, if that number is negative, you are not ready yet. You need to either earn more or spend less. And here's a great tip. Before you actually move out, live on that budget for a few months as if you were already on your own. Put any extra money into savings. That test run will tell you a lot about whether you are truly prepared. Next, take a hard look at your debt. Your debt-to-income ratio, which measures how much you owe each month relative to what you earn, is one of the biggest factors in your financial readiness. A ratio below 43% is generally considered manageable, but the lower, the better. If your debt is eating up a huge chunk of your income, it might actually make more sense to stay home a little longer, pay that debt down aggressively, and then move out from a much stronger position. If you are close to your family and the situation is workable, using that time at home to eliminate high-interest debt can set you up for a much smoother financial life once you do leave. The key is to have a real debt repayment plan with a target date, and to communicate that plan with the people you are living with so everyone is on the same page. Once your debt is under control, the next big priority is your emergency fund. This is non-negotiable. Life is unpredictable, and when something unexpected happens, a medical bill, a car repair, an insurance deductible, you need to have money set aside so you are not scrambling for a loan or draining your retirement savings. Start with at least $1,000 to $2,000 as a baseline, but ideally you want 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved before you move out. With a steady job and a commitment to your budget, you can build that cushion faster than you might think. But do not skip this step. An emergency fund is what keeps a small financial setback from turning into a full-blown crisis. Now let's talk about rent specifically, because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. A common rule that landlords use, and that you should use too, is the 3-to-1 income to rent ratio. That means your monthly income should be at least 3 times your monthly rent. So if you are looking at an apartment that costs $1,000 a month, you should ideally be bringing in at least $3,000 a month. If the rent on the place you want does not fit that ratio, you have 2 options. Find something more affordable or wait until your income grows enough to make it work. Stretching too thin on rent is one of the fastest ways to end up in financial trouble. One way to make the numbers work is to get a roommate. Splitting rent with 1 or 2 other people can dramatically lower your monthly costs and potentially allow you to live somewhere nicer than you could afford on your own. If you go this route, choose your roommates carefully. People with similar lifestyles and financial habits make for much smoother living situations. Put everything in writing, including who is responsible for what expenses. And if possible, sign separate leases with your landlord so that if a roommate bails on the rent, you are not left holding the full bill. Before you even sign a lease, make sure you have enough saved to cover the upfront costs of moving in. Most rentals require a security deposit, your first month's rent, and often your last month's rent as well. On top of that, there are rental application fees, credit check fees, and possibly utility deposits or connection fees for electricity, water, and internet. Moving costs are another expense people often forget to account for. All of this can add up to several $1,000s before you even spend a single night in your new place. Go in prepared, not surprised. Something else that catches first-time renters off guard is renter's insurance. It might feel like an unnecessary expense when you are already stretching your budget, But renter's insurance protects your belongings against things like fire, theft, and storm damage, and the cost is surprisingly low, typically around $20 a month. That is a small price for serious peace of mind. If you cannot afford renter's insurance right now, that is actually a sign that your budget needs a bit more work before you make the move. Here is something that does not get talked about enough. Are you ready to commit to staying for at least a year? Most apartment leases run 12 months or longer. If you sign a lease and then decide to leave early, you could be on the hook for the remaining rent balance. That unpaid amount can go to collections and do real damage to your credit score. So before you sign anything, be honest with yourself about whether you are prepared to stay for the full term. If you are not sure, look for a month-to-month lease, even if it costs a bit more. Flexibility has a price, but so does breaking a lease. On the topic of furniture, do not let the idea of furnishing a whole apartment stop you from moving, but also do not go into debt trying to make it look like a magazine spread on day one. When you first move out, secondhand furniture from family members, thrift stores, and online marketplaces is your best friend. It gets the job done without draining your savings or putting you in credit card debt. You can upgrade over time, piece by piece, as your financial situation improves. Building a home you love is a years-long process, not something that has to happen in the first 30 days. Finally, think seriously about your credit score and your money management habits. A lot of young adults hurt their credit in the first year of living on their own simply by paying bills late or missing payments entirely. A payment that is more than 30 days late can show up on your credit report and stay there for years. Utilities that go unpaid and get sent to collections can cause real damage. Your credit score is not just a number. It determines your ability to rent future apartments, get a car loan, and eventually buy a house. Protecting it starts with paying every single bill on time, every single month, without exception. If you are not confident you can do that consistently right now, that is worth taking seriously before you make the leap. So there you have it. Moving out is one of the most exciting steps you can take toward real independence, but it is also a financial responsibility that rewards preparation. Get your budget sorted, pay down your debt, build your emergency fund, understand the true cost of renting, and commit to protecting your credit from day one. The habits you form when you first live on your own will follow you throughout your entire adult life. Set yourself up right, and this next chapter is going to be a great one. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below and let me know where you are in this process. Are you saving up, already moved out, or still on the fence? I would love to hear from you. See you in the next one.